The Strangers, Part 3. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. If this is not going to be long, we're going to try to breeze right through this. So the last couple of weeks we've been doing The Strangers. We did Part 1 and Part 2, so we're going to close up with Part 3, getting an understanding of the strangers and how they relate to Yashra'al. So what we've done, we've examined through the Strongs and all the different listings that it has for strangers on our board here. And we can see that all of them are different in one way or another, in that we focused on one particular stranger and to see that his condition was different than the other strangers. So what we're going to do is continue to go in the scriptures to begin to identify these strangers even more. And we are going to, first of all, what I want to do is, there was a scripture I read, not this past Shabbat, but the Shabbat before. And Maury, you remember that scripture when it talks about the Egyptians shall be my people?
Yeah, with the Isaiah.
You got a thumbs up?
It was what, Isaiah 26, was it? Am I mistaken?
Do you have your Greek Septuagint, Maury?
Yes, I have it.
Because I want to bring something. Because it reads one way. We were just going blank like that.
It's Isaiah 19:25.
Isaiah, Yahusha 19:25. I'm going straight with it. Most of our King James are written in what text?
It's Old Quaker English.
Yes, Old Quaker English, but the translation is the
Masoretic text.
Masoretic text. There we go.
So it reads in Yeshayahu.
In Yeshayahu, Isaiah, we're going to read it in the Masoretic text that most people have first, and it's going to read like this.
It says, when the sovereign of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people.
Blessed be Egypt, my people.
My people, and Assyria, the work of my hands.
And my people, Assyria, the work of my hand.
And Israel, my inheritance.
And Israel, my inheritance. Now, reading that in the Masoretic text, it seems like it's saying that the Egyptians, the Assyrians, and Israel are his people. But he did distinguish that Israel is my inheritance, or Israel my inheritance. Now, when we go to the Greek Septuagint, which predates, which is translated directly from the Torah to the Greek, it reads totally different. This is the way it should read. As soon as Moray Kasadabai gets it, he's going to read it for us.
Okay, now this is in the Greek Septuagint, 1925.
The Greek Septuagint, 1925.
Whom Yahuah of hosts shall bless, saying,
whom Yahuah of hosts shall bless, saying,
Blessed be my people and Assyria. That's not the right text. Saying, blessed be my people that is in Mizraim.
Blessed be my people
That is in
Mizraim,
and that is among the Assyrians.
and that is amongst the Assyrians,
And Israel my inheritance.
and Israel my inheritance. That's saying something totally different. So I wanted to correct that because I'm glad Maury brought that up, because in the Masoretic text it make it seem like he's saying the Egyptians are my people and the Assyrians, but he's not saying that at all. He said, blessed be my people that are in Mizraim, and amongst what? The Assyrians, Israel my inheritance. So that's what we want to correct. Because if I read it from the Masoretic the first time, about 2 weeks ago when we did the lesson, but we need to come back and correct that. So please forgive me for the error. So we have corrected it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Now let's go to Deuteronomy, Devarim, the 14th chapter and the 21st verse. And also for those out there viewing us by way of YouTube, Facebook, let me state this. This is not a yarmulke I'm wearing. This is a kippah or kufi that I guess once I put it in the dryer, it is now too small. But this is not a yarmulke. It's a kippah or kufi. So when you wash them, don't put them in the dryer. Devarim, the 14th. I did say 14, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 14.
And 21, right? We're going to ask Aki Abad Yahuah to read.
Ye should not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it. For thou mayest say it unto an alien, for thou art a set apart people unto Yahuah your Elohim. Thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk.
Okay, then let's focus a look on that, because y'all know we've been dealing with these strangers, and out of all of these strangers, which one has the most favorable position? 16, and that's what? Ger. Now, let's look at 14 and 21 real close. It says, ye shall not eat of anything that died of itself. Thou shalt what? Give it unto the stranger. What stranger is that? Y'all have any idea? It would be what? Ger. 16. Y'all don't find that strange? He didn't say give it to the other stranger. He said give it to the one that holds the most favorable position. But you notice one thing, what did he say before that though? He said you shall not eat that. But give it to who? The girl or the stranger. So that lets you know what? Even though this girl or this stranger is in a more favorable position than the other, he's yet not on your level.
Right.
Because remember all before when he read, didn't he say don't make a difference between that stranger 16 and 16 or a girl? He said don't make a difference, treat them like what? One born in the land. But he was never saying that they were equal to you. Because why did he tell you not to eat it? Huh? Because what? You are set apart people. They can never be on your level. I don't care how how favorable their position is. They will never be on your level, even though he said, treat them like one born in the land. He didn't say they were one born in the land or they were Yashra'al. He said, you should not eat of anything that died of itself. Thou shalt what? Give it unto the stranger. 16:16, girl. So even with all of that, he's yet what? Separating Israel from any other stranger. Israel is always above what? All the strangers. Not only the ones that are in a non-favorable position, but also the ones, the girl, 16:16, that are in a favorable position. They're over them as well. They're not on the same level or equal. Now, let's go to the 29th verse of that same chapter.
And Levi, because he has no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the father of less, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that Yahuah, your Elohim, may bless thee in all the work of thy hand which thou doest.
That stranger there is 16:16. Now let's look at something right here in let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and 11.
Read that.
Hmm.
And thou shalt rejoice before Yahuah your Elohim, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahuah your Elohim hath chosen to place his name there.
Okay, this and thou shalt rejoice before Yahuah thy Elohim, that you and your sons and your daughters and your manservants and your maidservants and the Levite that is within thy gates, and what? The stranger and the fatherless and the widow. That's a lot going on there. The stranger, the fatherless, and the widow that are amongst you in the place which what? Yahuah thy Elohim has chosen to place his name upon. So you're going to have, where's all of this going to be? Because remember, this is going to take place in the land. The nation of Yashra'al is going to be what? Restored once again. And guess what they're going to have when they're restored? They're going to have what? Manservants, maidservants, all of this again. So what do you think they're going to be? You don't think they're going to be within your gates? They're going into captivity for a reason. They have to serve. If they're going to be serving on the outside, who's going to be doing all the work within your gates? It's most certainly not going to be you, because what did he say was going to happen in Isaiah, the 14th chapter? He said he's going to give you what? Rest from your sorrow, your fears, and the hard bondage whereby you were made to serve. Okay. Let's go to 17 to 15 for Deuteronomy. We're going to ask Koti Shema if she will get that for us. Deuteronomy 17 and 15.
Thou shalt in any wise set a king over thee, whom Yahuah thy Elohim shall choose. One from among thee brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
Thou shalt not what? Set a stranger over thee, which is not what? Thy brother. For that stranger, we got Hebrew from the Strong 376.
52:37.
Yeah, I got 52:37. I got two. And you got 52:37. And that's what? Nakri?
Right.
Yep. And so for that, you get 5237, and you get 376, which is each. And we know each has double meaning. It could be a husband or a man. Or a man should not be over who's not should not rule over who's not what? From amongst your brothers. Let's go to Deuteronomy 23 and 20. Get that one too, okay, Deuteronomy 23 and 20.
Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto your brother you shall not lend upon usury. That Yahuah your Elohim may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land, whether thou goest to possess it.
Okay, then unto a stranger thou mayest what? Lend upon usury. That's the same stranger, 52 what? 37. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy 24 and 19. Koti Korah.
Deuteronomy 24:19. When thou cuttest down thy harvest in thy field, and hast forgotten a sheep in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahuah thy Elohim may bless thee in all the work of thine hands.
That stranger what? 16:16. Deuteronomy 24:20. Keep reading.
When thou beast thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the burrow. Again, it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
Well, that stranger again is 16:16. Deuteronomy 24:21.
When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It should be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
That's 16 and 16 again. That's Garrett. So we can see it's a continual process for that particular stranger. 16:16 of Garrett. And you know, like we talked about earlier in one of the other lessons, whenever you see that word Garrett, you also see what? For the widows, the fathers, you're going to see that always follow them. Because this is a particular stranger that the Most High is being favorable to. It kind of reminds me of when Maury did the lesson on Ruth, the Moabite. And you see Boaz following this same instruction here, how he does that, and he commands his even his men to leave what? For the women to be able to glean.
Right.
So let's go to Joshua 8 and 33. Joshua 8 and 33. King Zabu.
And all Yashra'al and their elders and officers and their judges stood on this side the ark, and on the side before the priests, the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of Yahuah, as well as the stranger, as he that was born among them, half of them over against Mount Gerim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal, as servant of Yahuah had commanded before that they should bless the people, that they should baruch the people of Israel. Keep going.
No, you good right there. And that stranger right there, that's amongst them is 1616, Ger. Let's get Joshua 20 and 9.
These were the cities appointed for all the children of Yashra'al, and for the stranger that joineth among them, that whosoever killeth any person at unawares might flee there and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood. Then he stood before the congregation.
Yeah, until he stood
before the congregation.
So you see, what we have here, these cities that it's talking about, we have what we call a city of refuge, or cities of refuge. And so we know if there was a killing or something that took place, that one could run or flee to that city, and they remained there till it was. Didn't it remain till the high priest died for it?
Yes,
And so what it would do, it would give that family of the slain victim or whatever time to cool off. That keep them from defiling the land, going avenging that blood by murdering. So if they murder or kill someone, it will bring a curse upon the land. So, but you notice he said these cities were built for who? The children of Israel and for the stranger. You got 1616 again right there. You don't have any of the other strangers listed. Just 1616 Agar. Okay, let's go stay in the book of, no, we'll go to Judges. Let's go to Judges 19 and 12.
And his master said unto him, we will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger that is not of the children of Yashra'al. We will pass over to Gilbert.
Okay, so what we see is that the master said unto him, we will not turn what? Aside hither into the city of a stranger. That stranger is Nakri.